So welcome everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our final Teaching with Technology webinar for the semester. My name is Sam Enneman. I'm in the Center for Teaching and Learning, and I will be your host today. So just a few housekeeping issues and some guidelines before we get started. If you have any sound problems, look for the audio link, an audio button in your interface, and check your microphone. If you need to leave temporarily, in the emoticons menu below the participant list, click on there's a little coffee cup icon, and that will let us know that you've temporarily stepped out. And then if you have any technical issues, please call WebEx support. The number is 866-229-3239. And I would ask everybody now to go ahead and mute your microphone and just unmute it when you do want to talk later, if you'd go ahead and do that, so that we don't pick up any odd sounds around. And before I wrap up with these guidelines, could everybody please type into chat what department you're in and where you're joining us from today. So whether you're in your office, on campus, off campus, sitting in Starbucks, wherever it might be. So if you do want to ask any questions using your microphone, just click the hand raise icon, and we will then you can ask your question. But at any time, feel free to type any comments, questions into chat. I will monitor the chat and make sure that we don't miss those questions. We are recording the session today, and I will be sending you a link to that recording. It might not be until early next week, but we will send that, and it will be posted on our website. So now I'd just like to introduce a real quick introduction. Our presenter today is Justin Cary from the University Writing Program. And maybe I'll just let him tell you whatever he would like to tell you. So please welcome Justin.
All right, Sam, thank you so much.
I'll go ahead and give you control of things. And
cool.
It's all up to you now.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Sam. Thank you for the Center for Teaching and Learning so much for setting up these webinars and for inviting me to participate. It's really fun, and I learn a lot, and I really enjoy it. So thank you for that little intro. Yeah, I am a lecturer in the University Writing Program. A lot of my interests lie in sort of thinking about digital composing spaces, writing online. I'm doing a lot of research currently into Reddit and the potential for that digitally enabled social network for writers and what that could mean for what writing studies might look like moving forward. I love technology. I like to incorporate it as needed, as I can into my classes and my teaching pedagogy, and so that's kind of why I'm here today, to sort of share some of my adventures into different pieces of technology and how I've managed to incorporate them into my work with Canvas. So that's sort of where this is all going to be going today. And that picture, just as a side note, that picture was taken in Ohio a couple of years ago at the Digital Media and Composition Institute that I was lucky enough to be able to attend, and I actually learned a lot of stuff there. So if anyone is really interested in sort of writing studies, digital media tools, digital composing, check out Ohio State. They have some really cool stuff there. That's where that picture, that amazing picture of me right there is from. So I'm going to go ahead and start by sharing my desktop with everyone so you can see what I am up to. And as a quick note, you'll notice when the sharing gets enabled here, you're going to see what I'm seeing on my computer. And so if you want to chat, if you want to get back to the chat menu, if you need to do any of those things, you'll just want to use the sort of drop-down box that appears when you move your mouse to the top of the screen. You should be able to click on that chat right there, and it should open up this little a la carte chat window. I'm not sure if you can see that on my screen, but it's there. So you can still ask me questions or interject or whatever you'd like to do. So I wanted to start here in Canvas. It's our adopted learning management system currently. It's quite good. I really enjoy it. It's in my opinion, a big step up from Moodle that we used to use. And I've really enjoyed learning Canvas and seeing what it can do. One of the things, though, one of the things that I've noticed about Canvas, and this has just sort of been a minor critique or complaint of mine over the years, is I tend to teach, a few different sections of the same class every semester. So, for example, this semester I'm teaching 3 sections of You Write 1104. And, for the most part, these classes are exactly the same. And so, I tend to set up my courses at the beginning of the semester. Structurally, I get the syllabus in there, I get the basic skeleton of the course set up, but my style tends to, I want to create things on the go a lot. I want to, almost like on a day-to-day basis, see where the class is at, develop new activities, come up with things. Sometimes when I'm driving in the morning, I'll think of something cool and I'll want to sort of incorporate that into class that day. And so one of the problems I've always come up against with that is it can be a little bit cumbersome at times to create content in 3 different sections of the same course quickly. So if you take, if you're familiar with how Canvas works, right, you've got your courses, right? These are like the courses you're teaching, and so I've got what we're in right now is a course I'm teaching in fall or in spring 2018. So there's not anything in here, so I'm just going to use this course as a sandbox today and delete stuff later. But what I always want to do is create my course content in one place, and then just have that material appear in the other courses without me having to go into those courses and create that content individually. Now, I know that Canvas can copy material quite easily from course to course. You can go into your settings, you can choose materials, assignments, entire courses that you'd like to copy over, and that process works if you need it. It's good. But for me, I like to do things as quickly and efficiently as possible, and so sometimes that feels a little tedious for me. And if I'm really zooming in here with what I'm talking about, what I'm really talking about are the day-to-day activities that we're doing in class and using a calendar. And so Canvas has a pretty good calendar built in. If you click on this calendar button, it's nice. It gives you an overview. It's a pretty decent calendar. So if I wanted to create an activity, let's say we're doing something, on Wednesday the 8th, I could simply double click on it, and then I could set up a whole series of whatever I needed to do as this activity. The problem comes in is if I wanted to do this 3 times, if I wanted to do this exact same stuff from the 3 different sections of my course. The way you have to do that is you can either create it once, copy and paste it, and come back in here, and then you select which course you want people to be able to see that calendar event in. So what you end up having to do is create 3 separate things. And that can, for me, that's a little tedious. So my way around that, and here's the first sort of embeddable tool that I wanted to talk about, is using Google Calendar. Many of you are probably very familiar with Google Calendar. The Google Suite is what we've adopted at the university for most of our digital online needs. We've got Gmail, Google Drive, etc. So this is my Google Calendar. I don't want to spend too much time sort of talking about how Google Calendar works because there's a lot of stuff here, but the basic idea is you create a calendar, a separate, as you can see, I have like 10 different calendars, right, for all these different things that I need to have separate calendars for. So, things from these focus groups I'm working on, some conference stuff, faculty development stuff. These are all calendars. Some of them are unchecked right now. Some of them are checked, so I can only, if I wanted to see these events, I could, hide those, whatever. So these are all different calendars, and I've created an individual calendar for my classes this semester, for all 3 of them, right? So it's this purple one. As you can see, there's an event here. So what I do is I go into a day that we have class like this, and I create an event on this calendar, right, just this calendar. You're right, 1104 fall, on that day. And I just make it go all day long. You can see I've selected all day. I type in exactly what I want to do in class. I only have to type this stuff one time. I don't have to copy it. I don't have to paste it anywhere else. I just do it here, and that's the best part of this. I set up what I want to set up. I can embed links to things that they need to go look at and see. One sort of quick little side note here, if you want to incorporate URL links into your Google Calendar events, you do have to know a little bit of HTML code. It's very easy. It's just the code for embedding a URL link behind text, basically. So it looks like this. You basically do one of these guys, and then an A, href equals quotation marks, and then you go get whatever you want to link to copy the link. The link goes into the quotation marks. Or not. There we go. And then end quotation marks. And then you do another one of these little guys. And then you say, click here for this thing in plain text. And then you close that code with a little thing with a slash and an A and another thing. I like to use very technical terms when I'm talking about coding. So that's it. You just have to know that one little thing, and then this. It doesn't. You can sort of see that code hanging out up here in the editor in my post from earlier, because you'll see this in the editor. But when people actually log in, slash and bracket. Thanks. There you go. The slash and bracket language. This will appear as an embedded URL link on text when you actually show it to people. So you have this whole thing. You set up an event. Boom, done. Great. That looks excellent. Okay, so then students can, they'll be able to see this once I share this calendar with them. And then this is the most important part. This is where Google Calendar, I think, really kind of it does a better job here than the calendar that's built into to Canvas. And so I now need to embed this one specific Google Calendar into my course. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to my basic main Google Calendar page, and we're going to drop down this little menu. Each calendar has its own menu, and we're going to go to share this calendar. Okay. The default screen that it will take you to is like share with individual people. We're going to go back one step here, one tab back to calendar details. And on this screen, and it's kind of, it's not the most, present thing, but it's right here. It says embed this calendar. Okay, and it's going to give you this code. You don't need to worry about, I don't really know what most of this stuff really means. iframe is an important thing I've come to learn. But what we need to do is basically just take all of this code and copy it. Okay, and then we just go back to Canvas. We go back to our course that we are wanting to put this calendar into. I'll just go on this is one of these pages here. And you can put this calendar on anywhere you want in your course. It can be on your home page. That's where I have it in my courses now. So if we wanted to set up a page that can serve as the home page, we simply go in here and we make a page called home page. And then by default, Canvas puts you on the visual editor, but we're going to switch it over to the HTML editor with this little button right here. So right now we're looking at the code editor. And all you have to do is paste the code in like this. Okay? That's it. And this process of going to a thing on the web, finding the HTML code for that thing, and pasting it into Canvas, that's really it. I mean, that's really what this whole session is about. It's about learning this particular skill. It's not really about learning to code. You don't really need that. You just need to know how to find and identify the code and then be able to copy it and put it where you want it. So a couple of things we can change here. If you want the width of this calendar to take up the maximum space that it can take up on the page, instead of using an actual number, we're going to change this to 100%. So that tells it that it'll make the width, just no matter what size you make the window, if you resize it, it'll always just be the right size. Height you can mess around with. Just depends how much space you want this to take up on your Canvas page. Let's just say 500. You just have to kind of get a sense of what these numbers mean after you've played around with them a little bit. And then we click Save and Publish. And now we've got this lovely calendar embedded into our course. The beauty of this is that I don't need to do anything else with any of my Canvas courses. All I have to do is embed this one calendar, just like I just showed you, into all 3 courses. So I do that process once. And then when I want to create things for students to do on a day-to-day basis, instead of having to go into each individual course and set up 3 separate assignments, I can just go back to my main calendar, click on a day, and then write what I want everyone to do on that day, making sure that I select the appropriate calendar that I want that event to appear on. And then it's automatically pushed to that calendar that I've embedded into Canvas. I think it works great. Then students can see this when they log in. They can click on it. They can read through what we're doing that day. That looks like that URL link somehow got messed up. Let me double check that. And they can see all the materials, links, readings, whatever. Plus they have this nice record of what we've done all semester long. They can go back if they miss a day. It's all right here, and it's just really easy to use and really easy to to get things done a little more quickly across your Canvas courses. So that's the quick of it. It's pretty much that. It's that easy. It's finding that embed code. It's going to a calendar's settings page and grabbing that code and putting it where you want. One little thing to remember about this, and yeah, thank you, Sam. I was about to ask if there's any questions. Please feel free to ask them. And one quick caveat here, it's very important. I'd have to remind my students of this all the time. If you sign into Canvas and you happen to be signed into a Gmail account in another browser that's not your UNC account, this calendar will not even appear for you. Even if you've got a non-UNC account logged into in the background somewhere, you have to make sure that you are logged into your .edu UNC Gmail account before you try to access the calendar, or it will not appear, because I've set this calendar up to be visible only by people at UNC Charlotte. So if a student logs in, sometimes they'll log in and the calendar will not be there, and they'll say, hey, the calendar disappeared, and I'll say, oh, just double check that you're logged into your UNC Charlotte account. That's why it's not there, because it like looks across your entire browser tabs to see which accounts you're logged into. So that's very important to remember. So that's my favorite thing. That was probably the number one thing that I wanted to show you. I have a few other things to sort of show as well, but that was the primary one. For me, it saves a ton of time because I only have to create the assignment once and put it on the calendar once, and then it's automatically in my classes. I can show you what that looks like for this semester too. So here's my class, here's my calendar. Students log in, they see this, they go down to the calendar, they go to today's date, whatever, and then they see what we're doing that day. Questions on that? We're going to move a little quickly because I want to show you a couple more cool things. Okay, I'm going to go back to my little page that I made for today. I put some Simpsons. See, I put this here for the calendar. See, nothing, more nothing, like that's funny. And then this next one, embedding Padlet Walls for real-time collaboration in class. This is what usually happens when we do real-time collaboration in class, right here, this little GIF. So if you know me at all, you've probably heard me talk about this next tool so much that you're sick of hearing me talk about it, but it's just something I really, really like, and it's this little thing called Padlet. I just think it's awesome. I don't know what that link is doing, but let me just go to padlet.com. So Padlet is this just amazing tool on the web that's free, and it's basically just an interactive wall. You can share it, you can embed it wherever you'd like. It allows for users to come to it, share things, videos, images, writing, whatever you want. It collects all of that on this wall, and it all happens in real time. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite apps. So let me just log in here. Yeah. It's so easy to use. You just simply click New. You select what exactly you're thinking of making. They've added a lot of features to this over the years, but I'm just going to do a basic wall, and that's it. My wall is now created. Anyone can come to this URL link and write something by double-clicking. Hey, I'm here. They can write things. They can share images and pictures if they want to upload those things. Links to things. It's all really, really great. What I love to use this for in class is to facilitate, real-time collaboration. Google Docs is also a great tool for this, but if you want something that's a little flashier, this is a great way to sort of, maybe open up a class by saying, okay, everyone, go out to the internet and find something that's related to our topic for today, share it on this wall, and let's talk about what you found. Or, here's a question. If everybody could write a response to this question on this wall, that would be great. And it's a lot of fun because as people post, everything, it sort of pops up in real time. So you can watch it happen. You can watch people posting things, sort of like Twitter in that way. But it's all happening in real time. And this is great because you can take this and you can embed it into Canvas as well. And sometimes embedding feels a little bit redundant. You could certainly just link to this, and have a URL link. But if you wanted to bring this content into Canvas instead of asking students to go out to it, that's kind of why embedding is nice. So we're going to, as with, I keep saying this, it's almost the same process for all of these online tools. If you can learn this one process, you can embed anything you need to. You look for a share button. That's always step one. Look for a share button, and then you just kind of have to look through these menus. So, this one says share, export, embed. Embed sounds like what we're looking for. Here it is, embed in your blog or website. So it's going to give you this big, this is pretty big code. There's a copy button. Okay, so I've just copied it. I can just click on that. And then I can go back to Canvas and I can edit my page. Just scroll down here to the, let's put it at the top just for demonstration purposes. And again, you switch over to the HTML editor. Remember, if you try to paste this in the rich visual editor, it's not going to know what to do with it. It's going to be a little confused. So we don't want to do it like that. We want to put it into the HTML editor. So make sure you're seeing the code, like the matrix. And then we're going to click Save. And now I have this in my course. And so it's nice. You know, you don't have to leave. You can sort of do this within Canvas. No account is needed to post on Padlet. And you can sort of set those settings up as well if you want to just make the wall public or you want to make it unlisted so that only people who have the link to it can interact with it. You can set up what you want people to be able to do on the Padlet wall. So if you want them to only be able to post, or if you want them to be able to only like see it, there's all sorts of options that you can mess around with. Let's see here. So let me see, where are these settings? And like I said, they changed this stuff a lot. A lot more of it used to be free. Maybe those settings have to be in there somewhere. I just have to find them. Yeah, you can change a lot of those settings in here somewhere, like invite, share, modify, change format. Oh yeah, privacy. So you can do it like if you do secret, which is what it defaults to, only people that have the link can access it, and then you can decide what you want those people to be able to do. So maybe they can only read what you've posted if you're just sharing something that you don't want them to be able to delete. Or they can write, which means they can post. Or they can moderate, which means they can delete content and add content. So there's lots of cool options that you can play around with there. It's a great question. Yeah, so then we put, and then like literally, this is a Canvas page. I can simply click here and write stuff. And you can change the formatting too. Like right now it's set up so that each time I post something new, it'll kind of shift it over. And it'll create this grid effect. Or you can also change it to a more free-form effect where you can slide things around and just put anything where you want, almost like a collage. So that's really cool. So Google Calendar is really fun. Padlet's another great tool for embedding into Canvas to get, to make it just be different and look different. And then of course, we've got things like YouTube and Soundcloud. So I'll just quickly show you these as we wrap up here. As you can see at the bottom of the page, I've embedded music. I can't, we were talking about this just a second ago, I can't share the music with you, but this is the Simpsons theme song playing from an embedded SoundCloud song file. So let me show you those two things, YouTube and SoundCloud, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see if I can, my tabs are kind of, I can't get to my tabs because this thing is in the way. So I'll just use this. So let's go to YouTube real quick. Let's see what's in my YouTube history. Lots of Stranger Things, Destiny, that's a video game I like to play, also SNL skits. I've got all sorts of stuff in there. So let's just find a video. Let's just do, I don't know. Star Wars. Here's a Star Wars channel. Here's some videos. Let's just click on this. Okay. Ooh, wow, yikes. Okay, so spoilers, let's scroll down a bit, and again, it's that same exact process. Like I said before, it's the same thing. Look for the share button. Here it is, share, okay? So this is the URL link. That's not actually what we want right now. We want to go one step further than that. We want to go to embed, right? So it's going to be the same thing. You can grab the URL, or grab the embed code here. And there's also some neat settings you can mess with here as well. So if you want this video to start at a particular time, you can click that box and then choose the start time. If you want it to start, a minute in or 30 seconds in, it'll modify the embed code for you, so it will do that. So like we can change this to like 10 seconds, and it'll start 10 seconds in. And there's all sorts of other little options and things that you can select here. So I'm just going to copy that code, and again, back to Padlet, or excuse me, back to Canvas. Click on Edit for this page that we're editing. Go to the HTML editor. Make some space. Boom. And again, you can change the size here. So if you want this to be 100%, like we talked about earlier, You just change that width number to 100%, and then maybe the height can be whatever, 500, and then save. And now I've got this sweet video embedded into my course as well. If you want, like sometimes students, they actually kind of got annoyed by this last time I did it, so you might not want to do this next thing. But I embedded SoundCloud files onto many of my pages on my Canvas course so that music would start playing for them, like calming, peaceful music, like in the background whenever they would go to a certain page. They didn't really like that. They found that to get annoying after a while. So I would maybe not recommend doing the automatic playback here, but here's a little plug for the University Writing Program podcast as an example. Here's the podcast that we do in the University Writing Program. This lives on iTunes podcast site as well as on SoundCloud. You can find this in both of those places. So everybody tune in and listen. It's so awesome. But let's say I wanted to put this podcast into my Canvas course so that students could easily listen to it. Again, it's the exact same process. Find the share button for the thing you want to share. Look for embed. And find the iframe code, the HTML code. And again, there's options, like if you want to enable that automatic playback, you simply check that box and it will change the code for you automatically. I'm going to go ahead and copy this back to my Canvas course, edit, HTML, and paste. And again, you can play around with the settings. So like usually with SoundCloud, I don't want it to be too enormous, so I usually change the height. I usually scale that down a lot, so it's almost like a little bar instead of a square. So I just change the height to 100 for this one, and then when I click save, now I've got this cool sound file that I can play and pause as needed. So sound files, videos, interactive writing walls, calendars, all sorts of cool, rich media content that you can embed into any section of Canvas that has the editor built into it. So anything you do in Canvas that has that editor at the top with those tools, you can embed your material there. So that's pretty much all the little gadgets I wanted to cover. I'm happy to take a few minutes to answer any questions if anyone has any. Oh, I've got a hand raised. Yes, let's see. How do I call on?
Kevin, just go ahead and use your mic.
Yeah, Justin, a question for you.
Sure.
Under Padlet, if you're doing some sort of collaboration and say you give an assignment that says, go out and get me a major news story from somewhere in the country and post it on the wall about the topic we're going over, are they able to bring in photos or links to a URL or something like that onto the wall?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's just see what that looks like if we do that. So let's just go to New York Times. Not that. We'll just grab like a headline, a link. We can just copy it. And if you copy that link onto Padlet, there's a little toolbar here at the bottom that lets you, sorry, I close this. That lets you add media content like that. So you can literally just put a link from the web. 9 times out of 10, it'll give you a nice thumbnail. Sometimes it doesn't quite know how to read the link you put in, but for the most part, it should give us a nice little thumbnail, and then we can post it, and you get this nice little thing. And then people can actually write comments on this too. You can set it up so that people can comment on these posts as well. So it's nice.
Great, thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah, sure. Got a hand raised. Sam, yes, you may talk, Sam.
No, I was that was a mistake on my part.
Okay. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, if anybody has any questions now or later, feel free to email me. jcary1@uncc.edu, or stop by my office in Cameron. I'm happy to talk about this with anybody anytime.
So are there, can you go ahead, hold on, let me do this.
Oh, I need to give it back to you, don't I? Sam?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Justin. Whenever I want to learn some really new, neat, exciting things, I always ask Justin to come do a webinar for us. So he's always turning me on. Everything from Padlet to everything I know about QR codes, I learned from Justin. That's another webinar. That's another webinar.
Thanks, man.
So before we leave, I want to offer everybody a virtual dessert. So if you would, maybe go ahead in the chat and tell us which is your favorite dessert. And again, I want to thank everybody for attending, and thank you, Justin. This is our final webinar of the semester, but look for more in this series and other series in January and through the end of the spring semester.
Please excuse this announcement.
Whoever has their microphone open, could you maybe mute your microphone? Thank you, thank you. So again, enjoy your virtual dessert, and thank you for attending. See you next semester.
All right, thanks, Sam.